So let's see what we've got here now. The Prime Minister is in Switzerland now. The long-haired macdaddy's in Davos, Switzerland. And he made a speech yesterday, actually, talking about women's rights and including countries doing more to confront widespread concerns over sexual misconduct and assault. He's talking about feminism and the Me Too and all of that stuff, trying to say he's a feminist. And this is his mantra. This is something he's said since day one, that he's a feminist. And he is the most feminist person you could ever meet. Women will be safe with Justin, this long-haired macdaddy straight out of hell, who comes from a crazy, messed up, drugged out mama who got knocked up by the world's biggest cuckold, Pierre Trudeau. That's a different story. But he says he is the most feminist prime minister. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This guy's no feminist. I'm going to say that straight up. Justin Trudeau, the long-haired macdaddy, is not a feminist. He is not a feminist. Most feminists these days are actually not feminists, but I'll talk about that later. This Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is anything but a feminist. He is a macdaddy. That's what he is. He is a macdaddy. He's not a terror. He's not a feminist. He's a macdaddy. He is macking Canadians. He wants them to think he's a feminist. But he's not a feminist. He's a macdaddy. He's a pimpmeister. That's what he is. And I'll tell you why I say that. I probably don't even have to tell you that, because most of the people who watch my videos know already he is not a feminist. He is anything but a feminist. My right foot is more of a feminist than Justin the long-haired macdaddy Trudeau, pimpmeister Trudeau, emissary of the devil. This guy who, first of all, says we're not going to fight ISIS. That's one of the first things he did when he became prime minister. He pulled Canadian air pilots out of Iraq and Syria who were fighting ISIS with America and France and England and all the world. They were fighting ISIS, one of the most barbaric groups on the face of the planet, which terrorizes women on a daily basis. I mean, the dog gets treated better than women in ISIS territory. They are forced to wear bed sheets. They are subdued. They are cowed. They have no rights whatsoever. It is 100% Sharia law. It says if women have to have more than one male witness to prove rape and all this sort of stuff. The long-haired macdaddy says, we're not going to fight these people. If you fight these people, they win. That's what he said. And he pulled out all the fighters out of ISIS territory. He says, we won't fight ISIS even if they attack us. Even if they attack us, we won't fight them. The worst possible leader on the face of the earth. I know you some people want to talk about Obama. Some people want to talk about Theresa May. You want to talk about Macron. Okay, none of them can match the long-haired macdaddy, because when you say that you will not fight ISIS, even if they attack your country, in my eyes, you are already worse than a stray hound dog with rabies. I will put you in hell myself if I could. If you say that this group, which brutalizes women, which enslaves women, which puts women in bed sheets, which forces them to live under Sharia law, the most anti-woman type of doctrine on the planet. And you say that we won't attack them even if they attack our country. And not to mention, they kick gay people off of buildings. And you say you like gay people. And you marching up and down gay parades all over the place like there's no tomorrow. I don't know, maybe you gay yourself, but I mean, I don't know. If you are, ISIS will throw you off a building. That's what I know. Because they don't like gay people. That makes you worse than a dog. Worse than a stray dog with rabies who bites a 2-year-old in downtown Brooklyn. You're worse than that. And now he's saying that all these ISIS terrorists who have done all this stuff, who have gone away from Canada, who threw away all the opportunities they had that this country gave them, they're going to go to Iraq, Syria, join ISIS, say the worst possible things about Canada, but now the long-haired macdaddy has come back in here. Come on out back in here. We'll try and rehabilitate you. You won't be in any trouble. We won't arrest you. We won't do anything. We'll try and rehabilitate you, putting the whole country at risk of attack. Saying, come on in. But I've told you this over and over again. You know what ISIS is going to do? They're going to use this as an opportunity to gain access to Canada, for their terrorists to gain access to Canada, and pretend to be rehabilitated, and then attack Canada when our backs are turned. This ISIS anti-woman organization is going to use this naivete, or maybe it's deliberate. I actually think it might be deliberate. I think that the long-haired macdaddy wants a terrorist attack in this Canada, because the more terrorist attacks that happen in this country or other countries, the more rights that our governments can take away from us. So then, bringing in all these people, all these ISIS people into our country, they'll use this as an opportunity to gain access to Canada, blow us up, pretend they're rehabilitated, then blow us up. That is not feminism. That is not feminism. You're all the ways up and down, all over the world, talking about women's rights and yada. You're always with Ivanka Trump and Melania Trump and all these women people saying you're a feminist and this and that and yada, and trying to educate people on feminism. You are not a feminist. And I will not let this macdaddy mac this country anymore. I will not let this macdaddy mac this country anymore. Talk about you're a feminist. You're not a feminist. You're an opportunist. You're a macdaddy. You are not a feminist. You are not a feminist. And I will go down in my grave fighting this macdaddy, this piece of garbage, this piece of dirt. You are nothing. You feminist. You're not a feminist. And anybody who believes he's a feminist is a moron. No feminist would pussy out of the international fight of our lifetime, which is ISIS. No feminists. All the feminist pioneers in the past, in the 30s and the 20s, the real feminists who started the feminist movement, they're all rolling in their graves right now. This so-called feminist prime minister. And most people might think I'm talking rubbish. But imagine that we have a group which discriminates against women on a daily basis. ISIS. And not only women, but non-Muslims, gays, all sorts of people. These are the Nazis on steroids. And this country isn't fighting them? And we're actually sucking up to them, bringing them in. We won't even call them terrorists. We'll call them returning travelers, returning foreign travelers. If you attack ISIS, you are Islamophobic and all this other stuff. And we're not going to fight them. Even if they attack our country, we won't fight them. But I will talk about being a feminist. This long-haired macdaddy has done nothing to better women. In the 3 years he's been prime minister, he's done nothing but talk. That's all he does is talk. You are not a feminist. You are not a feminist. I will do my utmost to make sure that this long-haired macdaddy is ultimately defeated. You'll have to kill me to stop. And there are people who threaten the Iranian nation on a daily basis. Come on, come get me. I ain't afraid of you. Come on, come get me. Come on, come get me. You know where to find me. I'm ready for you. I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. Because that's the only way you're going to shut me up. This man is not a feminist. Talk is cheap. Why don't you go help the women who are being oppressed and enslaved in Iraq and in Syria by ISIS and in Afghanistan under Al-Qaeda with the Al-Qaeda territory? Why don't you go after them and save them and parade them all over the place and say, this is what we have done for the women of the Middle East. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Because you're a macdaddy. You're not a feminist, you're a macdaddy. That's why I call you the long-haired macdaddy. This is not a feminist. Mark my words. Justin, the ISIS-loving, ISIS-sympathizing, long-haired macdaddy Trudeau, who has allowed ISIS soldiers to come back to Canada, trying to rehabilitate them, even though ISIS will use this as an opportunity to gain access to Canada, blow us up. They usually target gay clubs and gay parades. They target all kind of different people. They hate diversity. The same long-haired macdaddy who says he will not attack ISIS even if they attack our country, and they are the most anti-woman organization out there, and we're not even going after them, not even a flicker, and he calls himself a feminist. He is not a feminist. He's a macdaddy. This is the Iranian nation.